This month, we're focusing on snappy comebacks and learning how to answer those tough questions about animal rights. PETA's Laboratory Oversight Specialist, Dr. Alka Channa, and Vice President Bruce Friedrich will take you through the most commonly asked questions and the best and most compelling responses.
In order to advocate effectively for animals, it's crucial to prepare and practice responses to some of the most frequently asked questions. We'll go over some of these questions and answers here, and you'll find more at PETA.org, on AskCarla.com, and on GoVeg.com. Remember, if you've heard the question a bunch of times already, you owe it to the animals to have a ready response.
Here are a few tips to keep in mind when asked difficult questions. How you interact with others is crucially important and may actually be more important than what you say.
First, find common ground with your listener. If you're told that the Bible gives us the right to use animals as we wish, it's probably not the right time to rail on about your opinion that God doesn't exist.
And don't allow any other issues to distract you. Stay on track.
This one is easier said than done, but stay cool. The animals need our advocacy, not our anger. If we always take the high road and treat people kindly and respectfully, we stand a better chance of winning them over to our side.
And since nobody wants to be lectured to, it's critical that we listen. By asking questions, agreeing with anything that they say that you can't agree to, and affirming their perspective, they will be much more likely to listen to you also.
Finally, we should always have literature with us. Once you've wowed someone with your eloquence, you want to send them away with more. The Veg Starter Kits or PETA's Think Before You Eat cards are especially good.
Now we're going to do some role-playing to demonstrate the best way to answer some of the more difficult questions.
Bruce, animals eat one another in nature, so why shouldn't we eat them? Aren't humans at the top of the food chain?
Well, certainly we are, but there's nothing natural about the way that animals are raised and killed for food. Chickens are bred and drugged to grow so quickly that their legs literally cripple beneath them. That doesn't happen in nature. Just because we can kill and eat animals doesn't mean that we should.
You see what Bruce did there? He acknowledges that the question is a good one, and then he uses my specific concerns to explain why eating meat doesn't make sense. He offers some solid information on how horribly animals are treated and ends with a question to keep the conversation going.
Here's one for you, Alka. We've been eating animals for thousands of years.
Yes, that's true, but that's not a good excuse for continuing to do so. We held slaves for most of our existence and treated women and children as property. But that didn't make it right. Today, we mutilate animals' bodies, rip pigs' teeth out, chop the beaks off of baby chickens, and hack off cows' horns, all without any painkillers. Tradition doesn't justify cruelty. Wouldn't you agree?
Again, notice the pattern. Validate the question, pose the argument, offer a concrete image of the horrible conditions endured by animals, and end with a question to keep the conversation going.
But Bruce, it's a free country. You choose to be vegan, I choose to be a meat eater. Isn't vegetarianism a personal choice? Shouldn't we just live and let live?
Well, Alka, I agree with you. We should live and let live. And that's why I'm a vegan. Actions that harm others aren't matters of personal choice. Murder, child abuse, cruelty to animals, these are immoral acts. They're not matters of choice. The meat and dairy industries abuse animals who had no choice in the matter. Okay, your turn, Alka. We have to kill to survive. I might be killing animals, but you're killing plants. What about the screaming broccoli?
You know, Bruce, that's a concern that many people have, but surely you'll agree that there is a fundamental difference between cutting your lawn and cutting off a live cat's leg. The ability to feel pain requires a brain, a central nervous system, and pain receptors. All mammals, birds, fish have these things. Plants do not. Animals feel pain just as we do. As far as we know, plants don't.
But you eat plants, and there are insects on the plants, and those insects are killed, and small animals are tilled up when the plants are harvested.
Yes, you're right, Bruce, but our meat habit is responsible for the vast majority of animals killed when crops are harvested. Currently, about 90% of everything we grow is fed to farmed animals. So when you eat the grain directly, rather than funneling it through animals, you need much less of it. So you kill far fewer bugs and other animals in the combines. Does this make sense? Bruce, here's one for you. But Hitler was a vegetarian.
Actually, he wasn't. Biographers have revealed Hitler's fondness for Bavarian sausages, liver, ham, and other foods you'll never find on a vegetarian's plate. Hitler even banned vegetarian groups in Germany and the occupied countries. On the other hand, many advocates of peace, including Mahatma Gandhi, Isaac Bashevis Singer, and Cesar Chavez, they were vegetarians. Okay, try this one, Alka. Why don't you eat fish? Fish don't feel pain.
That's a common misconception, but findings from recent university studies prove that fish, like every other animal, can and do feel pain. Fish have fully developed brains and nervous systems and very sensitive mouths, and there's no doubt that they suffer when they are impaled on hooks and yanked into an environment in which they cannot breathe.
The lead statement is critical. You want to begin with a sentence that keeps the person engaged, that makes them feel like they're being heard. Then you offer a compelling image that will stay with the person, and then you ask a question. Man, Alka, it must be hard to be a vegan. Where do you find vegan food?
You know, Bruce, 10 years ago, being vegan did sometimes require going to a special health food store. But these days, with increased demand for healthy, convenient, delicious products, vegan foods are as close as your neighborhood grocery store. Most mainstream supermarkets carry Silk soy milk, Boca veggie burgers, Not Dog, soy sausage, faux chicken cutlets, tofutti, better than cream cheese, soy delicious frozen desserts, and more. And all these items have no cholesterol or cruelty found in the real things. Okay, your turn, Bruce. How do you get enough protein?
Good question. In Western cultures, our problem is too much protein, not too little. Most Americans get about twice as much protein as they need, and that can strain your kidneys and cause an array of health problems. Vegetarian sources of protein include whole wheat bread, oatmeal, beans, nuts. But as long as you're eating enough calories and a healthy variety of foods, you really don't need to worry about protein.
Here's another one for you, Bruce. I need to drink milk or my bones will break. I don't want to get osteoporosis.
Sadly, the dairy industry has really duped Americans with the notion that cow's milk is important to build strong bones. And they want us to believe that cow's milk is the best source of calcium. It's not. Healthier, more absorbable sources of calcium include broccoli, beans, calcium-fortified juice and soy milk, whole grains, and soy yogurt. Dairy foods, they're full of fat and cholesterol, and they've been linked to heart disease, diabetes, and even osteoporosis because the high animal protein content of milk causes calcium to be leached from the body. Okay, your turn, Alka. I went vegetarian, but I'd always feel tired, so I went back to eating meat.
I'm really sorry you had that experience, Bruce. You know, most people who go vegetarian feel great. They gain energy and lose weight and see an overall improvement in their health. If you remove the meat from your diet without replacing it with other healthier foods, though, you could run into problems. There's been a lot more research on vegan nutrition in recent years, and with all the great products out there, it's easier and more convenient than ever to go veg. Why not give it another try?
Okay, here's one for you, Alka. I lost 60 pounds on the Atkins diet.
Well, you know, Bruce, I certainly understand the desire to lose weight, but studies show that Atkins dieters may shed some weight temporarily, but in the long run, they will gain back those pounds and then some, and they might also develop serious health problems. Heart disease, cancer, strokes, and other killers are directly linked to high-fat, high-protein diets. On the other hand, vegetarians tend to be 10 to 20% lighter than meat eaters, and are 1/10 as likely to be obese without having to count calories or risk a heart attack. Okay, Bruce, try this one. I grew up on a farm. I've killed animals, and I don't see anything wrong with it.
Sounds to me like you grew up on a family farm. But most animals today aren't raised on family farms. They're raised on huge, corporate-owned factory farms where they're crammed into spaces so tiny they can't even turn around, they can't lie down, they can't take a single step or spread even one wing. They're confined in warehouses with tens of thousands of other animals, and since automated slaughter lines move so fast, animals are often dismembered and skinned while they're still fully conscious. Was your farm like that?
That's really a wonderful response. You see what Bruce did. Rather than argue the point about whether it's right or wrong to kill animals, Bruce picks up on the fact that this person was raised on a family farm. Chances are that she, like most Americans, isn't aware of the systemic abuse of animals on factory farms. So he paints a vivid picture of these egregious cruelties and engages the person further to continue the discussion.
Okay, Alka, your turn. You folks from the city are worried about the chickens. What about the farmers?
That's a good concern, but most farms today are owned by enormous corporations, not families. And like other revolutions in industry, as the demand for vegetarian foods increases, corporations and farmers alike will switch over to plant-based agriculture.